Emotional damage.
All right. Thank you so much for coming tonight. We're going to start a real different at this event. We're going to start with Q&As and introducing the judges and MCs of the creator of Refinery as well. So we're going to start it off right. How's everybody feeling tonight? That was weak. How everybody feeling tonight? We got rookies, we got new gens, we got heavy hitters, we got vets, we got pioneers, we got OGs, we got all generation in one house tonight. That's fuck! So before further ado, I'm going to introduce our MCs of the night. First of all, before I do that, I want to have a big shout out to one of our OG DJs of Crump events. Our main man right here, DJ Metal Jack. You can give it up. You can do better than that. Give it up for DJ Metal Jackie. Yeah, we're live one tonight. All right, I want to introduce our MCs of tonight. Can you please give it up for our pioneers and OGs, Hawkeye and Sarge, Big Sarge and Hawkeye. Next we have our judges. Now we got our pioneer and OG judges. These guys literally paid ways for upstate, paid ways for our scrum, paid ways for all of us, including myself. So please give it up for Bugz, Gruddy, and one and only Big Wittz. So what we're going to do, I want to pass the mic around to these cats, and they're going to talk about their little history first, and they're going to let you know how they're going to judge about it. The judge is going to let you know how they're going to expect what you're doing tonight, and they're going to talk about themselves, so a little bit info as well. Is that cool? Yeah, that's good. All right, I'm going to pass it to Big Sarge.
Sorry about this chair's breaking over here, so I'm just going to stand up. What's up, everybody? How we doing tonight? Gonna keep it real short and simple. My name is Big Sarge. Some of you guys might not know me or from wherever you guys are at, but it's been about a good 16, 17, 18 odd years since we started Crump in this place in Brisbane. We all started at church. For us, Crump meant kingdom radically uplifted, mighty praise. I was going to say amen. But that's what it was for us. You know, it was all about coming and having an expression of our love for God, but also a chance to disciple our youngs, our littles, and all that kind of stuff back then. So it was all about the love. It was all about the internal stuff. You know, all the moves was good and all that kind of stuff for us. But it was all about the internal. It's all about the community. It's all about giving. It's all about sharing and the impartation from each other. So that's what we want to feel tonight. We saw a little bit of that as we were walking in. So we're going to keep that atmosphere alive tonight. All good? Yeah. It's my man Hawkeye. Let's go.
What's up, everyone? I just want to say I am so excited tonight. That's a mic off? Oh, sorry. I am most excited to see the current generation show us how it's done, first and foremost. So I'm really excited about tonight. Representing Patriot Fan, so my journey is a little similar to Big Sarge, but gosh, I don't know what to say. Listen, in summary, I've been far removed from the scene, and I am most excited to connect with everybody here tonight. And if you haven't heard of me, cool. That's great, because I've been out for so long. I know we preemptively said that a lot of us OGs, because we've been out the game for a very long time, we probably won't get off. But after what I saw last night at the pre-refinery, that might change. So I give humble love and blessings to you all. I really cannot wait to see you throw down. Please, I think the most important thing is fun. Just have fun. And let's just get off. I want to see it get ugly. I want to see shirts ripped. Oh, not like that, but yeah, you know what I mean? So, very excited. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate you all. What's up, everybody?
Yeah. If you got the another name named Bugz, yeah. I started in 2002. We started off the streets and we met these guys. We weren't church people, so we got introduced to these guys down the track. We were born street dancers from 2002. I retired 4 years ago, and I just come to the sessions just to fulfill my love for this dance because I love it so much. And I'm only here for one reason. The only reason why I haven't told everybody this, or I only told the boys that, the only reason why I go to sessions because I hold a lot of regret that some of us, the OGs, especially the people up here, we didn't give you guys the blueprint when we left. Everybody just left the scene and left everybody in the limbo, and nobody understood what was going on with Crump. And we had to talk about it this afternoon, just before that. It's a healing part for us as well, because we are carrying a regret that we should have fixed when we left. We left everybody in the dark with no explanation on how to lead or how to treat your little homies and how you recruit people. So it's a healing for us as well, and it's not just for you guys. We're here for a different purpose, besides judging you guys, but we're here for a different purpose. We're trying to fix what we did wrong, because we did mess it up, and we all agreed to it. We did mess it up, and we're here to fix everything. We, like they're saying, we're not here to dance, but we can always share and connect with everybody again and pass the torch on, because we can't carry this for so long. We got our own lives, we got businesses to run, we got kids, and we need to pass on the torch to people, and it starts here for us. For battle-wise, I'm looking for the character and how you feel. I want all the feeling. If you don't have feeling, if I don't feel anything you're doing, that's a no-no to me. So that character work, I need that character out. Thank you guys.
Hello. What's up? My name's Gruddy. I'm sort of honored to be sharing the table with like these are my OGs. I know a lot of niggas look at me like it's OG Gruddy, but to share the table with these guys that mentored us growing up in Toronto, it's an honor. What am I going to be judging on? Just originality, feeling, and just you being you, really. And again, thank you all for coming out. First of all, really. Awesome to see you all, really. Amen.
All right. Thanks, Gruddy. What's up, everyone? Big Wittz. Real honored to be here, and yeah, it's 16, 17 years since we last held the first refinery, and that word refinery, just so you know, when you refine gold, the impurities come to the top so you can move them to the side. So what refinery was always about was for all the families to come together, bring your A game so we can all leave better. So when you dance tonight, you bring your all, you bring everything, you leave nothing left in the tank, you leave it all on the floor. Before I move on, I just want to shout out to Shadi, Dario, there's Zaylin over there, like this. Jimmy, you're over here, like, we're here, but we represent all of those guys from that time, so love to all of you, man. I'm with Bugzy. I smoke bomb pretty quick when I left the scene, going through my own personal stuff, and I was just like, you know what, I'm out. I thought everyone was pretty good. I thought guys like this had it all together, and I'm only realizing now that they're like, man, we wish you hung around. So this event is representative of that. It's us to be here to answer any of your questions and to really be here to say, how do we continue this legacy? Because for me, it was never about the dance. For me, it was about the crumper. It was not about crump, it was about the crumper. We love to spend time with the people. Like, man, the amount of money we spent on petrol, dropping people home, feeding 6 dudes in our house, having them sleep on our floor, like after sessions, like we took in kids that were having a rough time at home. And that's really what crump was about for us. So the sessions were our expression and a way for us to communicate without words. So that's what crump means to me. When it comes to judging, I'm with Bugzy, man, character and feeling. I've got this thing, like a lot of people like to move fast and do all this. I say less, mean more. That's my saying for that. You know, focus on what you're doing, make sure everything hits hard and means something. So that's what I'll be looking for.
Right now we're going to do Q&As. Got any questions about their history? What do you want to know about them? Or questions about tonight? Anybody questions? You can put your hand up right now and I'll give you the mic. Oh, that's a run, bars. Mike, get it? No? Yeah, so any questions, queries about them, queries about tonight's events, please put your hand up right now.
I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you, Street. Any questions? Yes. Hold on. I'm just going to get the battery for a second.
When you guys started, and the feeling of crump, when you guys had that presence, what did that make you feel?
That was a very quick question. Should ask more stuff.
And back in the day when you guys jumped on stage,
Yeah. What else?
I'm trying to say it to them, let me try to talk, bro. Stop it. Stop it. No oil. When you guys jumped on stage for the first time, did that give you guys a fright?
Yeah.
A fright in your feelings just to build that foundation of what you guys did and be in front of thousands of people? Because I remember back in the day watching you guys, I think it was it DC or something like that? They came to Brisbane and then you guys like battled them on stage. And when you guys battled these Americans, did it have an impact in your life? With Iceman as well. Just in that thought, because all of you guys are part of that history.
I wasn't actually at that one.
Right.
I was probably too scared.
That's the answer.
Going back to the other one about how that feeling was, I didn't come from a dance background, so I didn't actually know what I was doing. But after watching Rise, it all started with Rise. There was a rawness that was there, and just to get a little bit personal with you guys, where I was at, I dropped out of uni because of like drugs and alcohol, and then I found church, and they sort of took me in. And not long after that, Rise came out, and it felt like a way for me to just like get it all out. Had no idea what I was doing, but people seemed to vibe with it, man. So for me, it was like, I was actually just saying this to Bugzy earlier, like when I came here for the session, it's been almost 14 years since I left Crump. And last night when I came to the session, my heart was racing. Like, it's unlike anything I've had before, like any drug or anything before. You just can't, you can't match it, thanks. You just can't match that energy. There's like, I think because it's a shared union of energy. Like, I require what you're giving me as much as what I'm putting out. And it just builds and builds, and man, last night was addictive. I couldn't sleep when I went home. So that's what it was for me. When it's been like that since day go.
I was one of those people that danced with those people and my family as well. But we danced at a shopping center, so that was my first time actually dancing in front of Americans. So it was like a lot of pressure to like, especially when like we know them, but they don't know us. Do you know what I mean? Like, so 90% of us was there of Brisbane. It was only Brisbane. It was like we don't even like they don't even know us. So the pressure was there, but at the same time, it was like you're battling tie-dyes in them because they're from America. So you just kind of like put those two together, and it's like it must feel like this, you know. But it's totally different when you do. I haven't battled tie-dyes, but I've seen your battles, bro, and it's totally different when it's tie-dyes, you know, on his side. Feeling wise, I've explained this to the new generation so many times. It's something that we can't explain to you guys because it just comes naturally in a way, but it comes in between the crump. While you're getting off, the feeling comes then. You know what I'm saying? Like, getting off to me is like it's letting loose. Nothing really has to make sense at that point. It's just you like getting off. I always tell this to people that when crump came to us, it was a baby. So it was free for all. It's like, if you're gonna pull a shoulder tonight, you're pulling the shoulder tonight. If you're gonna hurt, we used to crump, and you wake up the next day, you can't walk. That's how bad crump was, and it was hours. We were going to 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock, getting in trouble. You know, but that's the feeling. The feeling that we get is because of that, and it's hard to explain it to people, but we can always teach them where it came from. You know what I mean? Like, you can use your past, your mindset, and your whatever depression people are going through, you can use that in dance at the same time. And for me, it was the lifestyle we were in, and you know, you want to be better. You want your family to be better, in a better lifestyle. So you have that anger inside you that just builds and builds every time you go to a session. And when you do get to the session, it doesn't necessarily all come out at the same time. It takes time, you know, down the track. So, Dave.
Thanks for the question, Shadi. I'll just sort of revert to your first question. Fear is a huge one, because from the very first day I started crumping, I was absolutely terrified, and it was addictive. I absolutely loved the rawness of fear. It allowed me to kind of push myself beyond my limits, albeit while still being hella whack. But at that time, you know, crump was quite raw, so it was very easy to kind of hide behind lack of technique. But when I started crumping, Australia was, you know, we really started to see the genesis of Australian crump. So in different communities that were existing, like Melbourne, with Royal Family, you know, it was already a solid benchmark that I could look to and say, okay, this is the standard. Or whether it was Sydney, you know, we had Dario, we had Scrappy, and you know, that whole genesis of Sydney crump, the benchmark was there. I can honestly say that much of my crump, when I was crumping, when I was whack, even at my prime, 100% was driven on fear. I think for, you know, there was some, you know, kind of vanity issues, underlying issues there, because you wanted to look good, you wanted to look good in front of your little homies, and you wanted to look good in front of your opponent. But I felt most comfortable knowing that I was in a place of fear where I could truly let go. And that's where I definitely found my best crump. So, and if I get off tonight, I can guarantee you I will be scared shitless, that's for sure. You good? All right. Yeah, next question before...
Hey, yo, you know who it is?
Hey.
What's up, yo? Hey, as a pioneer myself and still doing this, I want to ask you guys, those of you who's gonna come back in, you know, and welcome when you do come back. What do you, each one of you could just briefly say what you're going to do from today on to big up your movement up here in Brisbane, because y'all killing it up here, bro. So I just want to ask each and every one of you, what is your personal thing you're gonna do to contribute to get these people back to where you said they were?
Dario, thank you so much for your question. That's a bloody great question too, by the way. Having been so far removed from the scene, I always had this, and again, bringing it back to fear. Like I had a bit of anxiety every time the topic of crump was brought up to me. Hey, oh, when are you going to come back? Or hey, when are you oh, we're doing this event. We'd really love to have you get connected. We'd really like to have you share. And I guess sort of touching on what Bugz shared earlier, and of course Wittz, there was a sense of, nah, our youngs have got it, our littles have got it. After discussion, we realized that wasn't the case. It wasn't a smooth transition, and that's not to say that the crump scene when we left was in bad hands, because it certainly was in great hands. The proof's in the pudding. We just need to look around now. But in terms of that lesson learned, I certainly have come to the conclusion that there needs to be an appropriate transition of power. And what that involves is connecting more with my old little homies, connecting with their little homies. Doesn't necessarily have to be about the dance, but whatever mentorship or whatever relationship that I can cultivate and share from shared experiences, I'm certainly looking to do that moving forward. Whether that be in a dance capacity, well, probably not, but certainly to assist and help continually push the movement forward, particularly here in Brisbane. I certainly want to make my presence known and available to the community and the Bigz. So I hope that answered your question.
I'll probably be the same, my brother's here saying, it's been a long time since I've done such, to be honest. Probably can't move that fluid anymore. So in the community work that I do, I'm probably more of a leader or mentor type figure in those things, and I'd love to come back and help. For me, it was always about that sort of stuff, the internal community work. I wasn't a trained dancer or professional dancer even when we were a company, you know what I mean? So it was all about trying to build and facilitate and give kids an expression, and then help them to find themselves in that expression and help them to be better in what they're doing. So if you see me in the sessions, I'm always that person just trying to deal with all the woos, you know? just come on, get it out, you know? When people start to struggle with some moves, you just give them that little bit of hype, and then it starts to unleash, and I love that. That's me, so I'm happy to be that sort of figure in the movement here in Brisbane. Like now that we're seeing tonight, and the work that Big Bang's been doing in the background, still trying to, still holding the flame up here in Brisbane. We'd love to get around them and offer whatever help we can to the community, man. So that's awesome.
If I'm being honest, I don't know. Because I've spoken with a lot of OGs and guys from back in the day, and they're telling me what they think the scene needs, but if we're not the ones that are carrying on the mantle, I want to talk to you guys. So what I'm really looking forward to is just hanging out with the future crumpers and not assume to think what you guys want. Like, we loved what we did back in the day, but maybe you guys don't want that, or maybe you want a blend of what you've got now with something new. So being available and being present is what I'll do first and foremost, and then lending an ear to just have those conversations. What type of leaders do you want to be? because it might have worked for us back in the day, but maybe you want something different. So, yeah, being present, being available.
Hey, what's up? I got a quick question. I thought it'd be a fun one. It's just like, what's one mad memory that maybe one of you has of one of the others that's up there from, yeah, it's like one dope memory.
Bugsy tells us one day, we were just talking about it, your wedding. Was it a wedding? I turned up to your wedding for a session.
It was a Bugz party, right? Well, it wasn't a Bugz party. I was hanging out with the different kind of people, my other kind of clubbing friends. So it was my Bugz night. So I'm with my other type of friends, and we were drinking in the club. And then one of the boys said, "Yo, the church boys are outside." I was like, "The church boys are outside the club." He's like, yeah. They want to see you. You need to come outside and say hello to them. So I came outside. And they were outside, and then all of a sudden, they were like, "We're gonna have a street session." I was like, "Okay," like I'm drunk. And he was like, "Oh, we're gonna have a street session for you." And I was like, "Okay, where the speakers at?" And they were like, "No speakers." I was like, "So how are we gonna do it?" Either way, the dance is gonna happen either way. So what we did the hand clap, this. You literally had to sit there and have a full session, just that. You know what I mean? So people was walking past us, like watching like this bunch of kids just sitting there, no music, no nothing, and there's one idiot in the middle just going retarded. You know what I mean? Greatest memory, great. That was fun.
I may as well come out of the closet with this one. It involves Gruddy. For those that don't know, two of my old littles, one present here tonight, Shift, big love to Shift, and Grud. So this was after church, when I was a good old church boy. We had a lot of sessions. I think they were quite profound. I think it was quite infamous across the Brisbane scene, the Breakthrough Church sessions. So there were some battles lined up, and Grud and I had come up with this concept of tag team moves, because not a lot of Crump fans were doing tag team moves at the time. They were there, but a lot of unsuccessful attempts at tag team moves. So Grud and I had come up with this tag team move, and we decided we figured we could practice this outside of church in the dusty dirt. So we had come up with this concept where I would sort of go through his arms, and he would sort of pop, and I would sort of take a little leap, and I would sort of spin midair and kind of land. And we thought that would be the greatest tag team move of all time. It did after the first attempt. So we did a second attempt, which was the practice one, and I'd asked Gruddy to put a bit more oomph in the punch with the pop-up. So he did, and I also was a little overzealous in my leap. Bang was there. I think he filmed it. So I was spinning midair, and I tumbled, and I landed on the floor in the dirt. All this little smoke of dust had come up, and I'm writhing in pain, holding my shoulder. I dislocated my shoulder. So that's probably my most candid moment, and one of the most embarrassing moments, I have to say. I don't want to use that. Yeah, you'll never see that footage.
Sorry, my voice is gone from last night. But being a second gen, growing up being mentored by you fellas, what up, big homies? And so just speaking about, like, you guys taught us that the family unit's probably one of the most important factors about crump culture, and stepping away from the dance, doing the culture and living that culture. Can you guys speak a little bit on what your opinion is the sole or primary responsibilities of those big homies and how important their job is and what their job should look like. You know, because when you guys left, the crime scene out here kind of turned into a bit of a war zone, and where fans just took each other out. That's why there's not too many OG fans left in Brisbane. So now that we got you guys around, just sharing a little bit of that knowledge so hopefully can prepare us for not repeating those same factors when we hand these mantles off to our little homies. So they don't go down the same pathways we went by taking each other's cliques out and destroying each other's current reputations.
So, awesome question, Shift. Look, my day job is branding and marketing. That's what I do. And the one rule I say to my team is you put the person first. You've got to put the person first all the time. Like when you're trying to market something to someone, you've got to think about how that's going to better their lives, right? Like that, how that product. Because if you can make that person believe, like, oh wow, that's going to make my life better, they're going to buy it. That's marketing 101. But it's the same here when you're dealing with people. You've got to forget the competitions. You've got to forget the hustle. You've got to see the person. And it's really hard to give one answer to say, this is what every fan needs to do, because Bugzy and I are like night and day in terms of our personalities and our beliefs and stuff, but what he does, like, he will attract a certain type of person that he can communicate and connect with, that he can see, and that's why I love Bugzy, because he goes, man, you don't need me to teach you crump. He would always think like, what are the things that you are struggling with? Are you struggling with your anger? Are you struggling to get a job? Are you struggling? And he can support them in that unique way for them. And so with me, I have my own personal style of communicating with people that may not fit others. So I think the principle of it, without getting, if I say one thing and everyone goes away trying to do the one thing, I think it's all going to go wrong. I think if you understand the heart of it is, you're dancing with people. The person across from you is a human being who's also got problems, who's, you know, you think you hate them or whatever, they're going through their own stuff, you know, and they've made time out of their day to come to be at that battle as well. When you look at your little homies, you don't just want them to get bucked so you can be like, yeah, I'm the man. You want to know what they're going through, and the only way to do that is to take a step back, focus on the person, and the rest will solve itself from there.
I mean, I know it'll be a broken record, but yeah, I definitely echo Witz's sentiments. I don't have an ideal blueprint, right? Like, I know my time as a big homie. It was a learning experience for myself, and I made a ton of mistakes. And I think probably the biggest mistake as a big homie at that time was never owning up to my mistakes. Because I, was kind of wound in this sort of toxic, sort of architecture, so to speak, of what a leader should look like, not showing weakness, etc. When in reality, I know that was an element of realness that a lot of these young men and women were looking to. So, if there's anything that I could really impart to any of the big homies is that you're human, and these experiences with other humans should be a very holistic human experience. So if you are struggling as a big homie, certainly communicate that with your little homies. I'm certain your little homies would absolutely understand. But for a big homie, you just really have to see your little homies as people and people first. So really understanding the dynamics of what's going on in their lives, and really sharing anything that you've learned in your own experiences. That level of transparency. So that's sort of lessons that I've learned from my big homie experience. But look, I don't have a blueprint, but certainly I would like to learn from. I've learned from my mistakes, and I hope that you can share that human element as well in your big homie role. So, yeah.
I've got a question. Will we see these OGs and pioneers dance tonight? Maybe. I'm a cripple, I can't dance. Bugsy's in it.
I mean, it's highly likely, bro.
Highly likely.
It's highly likely.
Should we get them dancing tonight? Be bold enough? Do you reckon? Do you reckon if we could be hype enough, these guys can dance tonight?
And I came very close last night, man.
Right, last night I won.
Man, do you know how amazing last night was?
Bro, how buck?
Man, already.
How buck?
Too damn buck, man.
All right, give it up again for these guys real quick.